The Star.
Yeah, y'all already know. Seven the Panther. That dude Fizz on the beat. Yeah. We live in entertainment. Sound change. Crown the kings, homie. This is where it get ill. About to have the tip off live as a tip drill. From the court to the diamond, to the track, to the big skin, flying around the field, starting five forever, keeping it real. If it matters in the world of sports, jeans and long sleeves, they taking no shorts. Hot to death, oh yes, these are the sports podcasts live as a pros course. Biz market wave, the starting five goes off. No matter who you cheer for, emotions out the window, they analyzing with clear thoughts. They take it way deeper than the boys ever. No longer got any use for the four letters. The latest news, score stats and the view from the sideline. Ain't no guideline, it's just the truth. Yeah, no need to dig for a pardon line. It's always in season to beat the starting five. We going in on three, run the baseline, starting five. Get it, we got what you need. If the sports news you see, we don't waste time. We talking cause we live it. We got what you need. We going in on three, run the baseline, starting five. Get it, we got what you need. And y'all know me, seven sign, I'm the illest cat spit. I got what you need.
In this Pinkies Up Tuesday, we back. We couldn't leave y'all hanging because, damn it, man, we was off last week because, real niggas do real things. Psych. Newest episode of Starfire Podcast. As always, I would tell you to hit the QR code, but make sure you just hit the starfirepodcast.com for everything about us. But after these brothers introduce themselves, y'all see that thing in the corner now. We got a sponsor rocking with us, and I'll explain that after the homie JG goes and Big O.
That's what's up. What's up, everybody? It's your man JG coming live to you on a Tuesday evening. Glad to be with y'all, brothers. I'm glad we was able to get another show in this week. I know we all been kind of busy. Some good stuff in the world in sports, some ups, some downs. Looking forward to chopping it up with everybody.
Yo, it's your boy Big O.
Currently Big Froze, but this all right.
My bad. I'm back. It's your boy Big O. We missed y'all a couple of weeks, couple of Sundays. So we here to catch up with y'all. Man, unfortunately, it's I wish it was on a better note. My team not doing what they're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? But in about one more game, man, my NBA playoffs is gonna be over, and I'll be waiting on football. I mean, but other than that, you know what I'm saying? I'm good. I'm enjoying this weather, having a good time, man.
Here we go. Oh, kicking off the show once again. Like we're not all feeling the pain. It's okay, my brother. It's okay. We're not all feeling it. No, we're not all feeling it.
My pain is special.
It's O's world. O's world.
Your pain is special. What you eat definitely don't make us shit. But what we do want y'all to do when it comes to eating is hit up our new sponsor. Like, I've been trying to work on this for a while with the homie, but thanks to the brother Jared from #Blackout Podcast, we are now affiliated with Hooks Rubs and Spices. And as it says right there, get one of the best on the planet as voted by the American World Barbecue Contest for 2022. When I tell y'all, like, this ain't the first time we've worked with them, first and foremost. Again, shouts out to #Blackout Podcast, as always, Jared and Jay. But Jared is the owner and proprietor of Hooks Rubs. And years back, we did a giveaway on the show. We gave away a couple bottles for free, and the people loved them. But now, as we are affiliated with the brand, you can get your own barbecue seasoning, or it's not even just barbecue seasoning. This is literally everyday cooking seasoning. Using the promo code starting5, all one word, STARTING number 5. No spaces, no underscores, nothing. Get yourself 20% off your order of hooks, rubs, and spices. I'm telling y'all now, for real, it's definitely one of the best seasonings I've ever had. And you know us black folks, the Lowry's, the seasoned salt, the onion salt, the garlic powder, whatever the case may be. If
Lemon
you're in a
Blood
pepper.
pressure.
lemon pepper. If you're in a semi Puerto Rican household like myself, it's the Goya adobo and the accents that's on packages. And
Don't forget the orange stuff.
we don't use no liquid. We usually use the orange packages from
Sazon.
The
the
Sazon.
orange Sazon
Yep.
packages. But this right here is a great alternative to using all of that, or if you just need to mix it up or add a little bit of flavor to your damn life. Y'all down below, I already sent y'all our code, but for the listeners, starting 5 gets you 20% off your order, your complete order of hooks, rubs. Go support the brothers. Go support a black man in Utah.
See that.
Brother.
Saw that.
You know, I always joke with him about that, but he's one of 5 black people in Utah. So now I'm joking again. But help a good brother out. This seasoning, as you see the Texas logo, it is legitimately by way of Houston, Texas, where the man is from. This is where it's inspired all of this, and he's been doing great, man. He's in tons of stores in Texas and across the South and all over Utah, barbecue supply stores, supermarkets, you name it. He's actually getting out there, and we're kind of helping him out, trying to get him around the East Coast and the rest of the world to everybody who listens to the Star 5. So please go support and get yourself a little discount on us, Starting 5 podcast. But again, the code is Starting 5. But that's that. That's the new opening that I had to give up. We might try to record like a little commercial or something for them to put in the beginning or the middle of the shows or something. Because again, the brothers supporting us with this, so we'll support. We definitely got to support them back. But now, talk about support. We talk about weak supporting cast. We got to talk about our Knicks being down 3-1 in this series. I know I missed most of the last game, but what were y'all brothers' thoughts on the outcomes and the unfortunate situation that our Knicks are in right now?
Listen.
My
Check
bad.
it out. So I'm gonna let Marcus Skynet chill out for a second.
I knew it was gonna happen. I was over here trying to catch it. No.
So let me start by saying I'm using this as a Knicks Appreciation Day because we are playing with house money. Who thought the Knicks would make the playoffs, let alone get this far? There is no shame in taking the L to Jimmy. Jimmy Buckets is the best player in the playoffs right now. The Knicks is banged up. They're not healthy. Julius is doing his best, but we just losing to the best player on the court is Jimmy Butler. On top of that, I mean, I hate to be that way, but we're also playing against a better coach who can game plan and who can do stuff on the fly depending on his lineup. And we all know I love Tibbs, but Tibbs, Tibbs is Tibbs going Tibbs. That's who he is. But I'm so appreciative of the Knicks giving us excitement and some good basketball. We're trending upwards. We got a fuckload of money. We got crazy draft picks. It's still the greatest arena to play basketball in. Every game I've watched in the playoffs this season, there's nothing like the electricity in the Garden. And we're going to show out. We're going to keep trending forward. The second round Knicks, I'll take that shit. We 3 years into the rebuild. There's some other squads. I'm not going to mention what city they from that's been doing the rebuild. Their process has gotten them to the second round for about almost 8 years now. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but you know what?
Process, so we know what you're talking about.
And they shouldn't have won that last game either, but we're not going there.
It don't matter. Fact is this, with this squad that we have right now, we are ahead of schedule. We are ahead of schedule. We have one superstar and an all-star. We need one. We need one more. One more player, one more scorer like that, and then we are officially a fucking problem.
Who's the superstar I haven't seen?
It's Brunson.
Jalen
It's Brunson,
Brunson.
the most disrespected player in the NBA this year.
Yeah.
You know, we need one more. Besides Julius needs to be a third option. We need one more, and then we're solid. But as I can say, I can't be mad at this. They've given me. I've enjoyed the NBA basketball this year far more than I have in the last 10 years. So, I'm going to salute the Knicks and onward and forward to better things coming.
Yeah, before we give it up to you, I just want to get mine out the way real quick. Like my homie, shouts out to my homie Will we was talking at work today. He's like, see, this is why I can't be a Knicks fan, man. Like, and I was like, chill out. Like, these Knicks in the way they are right now, in my opinion, they overachieved.
Word.
They overachieved, and the way they're looking right now is like Jamal said, ahead of schedule, and we're in a great place. But I do believe if Julius Randle can't get his shit together, either we're gonna have to do something with him, or try to pick up enough pieces to have him come off the bench and be a spark off the bench. But other than that, like Jamal said, and you can have it. I like our foundation. I won't care if we lose. I know the Knicks faithful that be at the Garden, that living in the Bronx or Brooklyn or Manhattan that's wilding out, whatever. Like, that's normal New York shit that people just act crazy hype and all of that. We're realists here. We're realists on this podcast. And if we stinking up the joint, we stinking up the joint.
And that's it.
Good, we good. But if we're just pleased with what we got this year. We just pleased, and that Brunson trade just made a world of difference, yo. A world of difference, yo.
That Brunson trade was definitely a steal, But I believe three things. Playoff Jimmy, he has something to prove, because remember last year, the whole him taking that shot and them losing. So I think he was playing, with that fire, or he's going to be playing with that fire all playoffs. That's one. Randle is just not a performer in the playoffs. I don't know if it's Tibbs playing him too much, and he's just run down by the playoffs. He's pretty much ineffective all the way around. Thirdly, and most importantly, Tibbs is definitely being outcoached by probably one of the most underrated coaches in the NBA. Spoelstra has rings and still nobody talks about.
Not even just rings, bro. Like, outside them LeBron teams, he still had them teams competitive every year. Got them to a championship. To a championship. Didn't win it, but like Spoelstra X's and O's, you can't fuck with him. And not to cut you off, but I think Tibbs has gotten as much as he can out of these players as you possibly can.
I was going to say that.
And you're right about Julius. The moment may be too big. That's why he needs to be a third option. I'm happy with Julius. What we need consistent sharpshooters.
Yo, we have Fournier on the bench. This is the 94 Knicks all over again, man. With Orlando Blackman sitting on the bench.
I brought that up, but I deferred to the older brother TJ. He brought up a good point. It's just Fournier is a defensive last, but you got to play team D. But we need that threat from outside, and Tibbs has his rotation, and that's who we're sticking with. But I think we paying Fournier what, 85 a year?
Yeah,
some shit. Yeah, come on, Shimon Tibbs.
One thing, and I mean, I hate to call it dead man walking, but I really hope that no teams make moves on these other coaches before the year is up, because I mean, I really think Tibbs has hit his ceiling. You have Nick Nurse out there, you got Budenholzer out there, a couple of other assistant coaches. I'm sure Worldwide West is out there doing his due diligence.
I feel you in a way, right? But let's remember this is kind of year one of this foundation in a way. Like the Brunson trade happened this year, right?
Mhm.
Right. We just turned it around after we got Brunson.
Right. They're not going. Tibbs is safe for another 2 years.
We
You think
need
so?
Yeah.
we need to allow this man to cook.
He still needs
Without the hook
parts.
sauce.
Yeah.
With the hook sauce and spices, by the way. But let's allow this man to cook. You know what I'm saying? Let's allow this
Yeah.
man to cook a little bit. And it's something that I've always been saying for recent times when it comes to modern day sports. Developing a team. Everybody wants that microwave flash in the pan. And yeah, Nick Nurse is out there. Yeah, Budenholzer is out there. Okay, cool, fine. Yes, they're championship coaches. That doesn't mean it's going to be and we're there.
No, look who
You
they
know?
had too. Yeah, and in our defense, the Knicks draft picks, they have improved year to year. So we have to. And the thing that gets me is the amount of people that shit on RJ. RJ showed up.
Yeah.
Fucking RJ showed up. I mean, he
Yeah.
had a couple of bad games with Cleveland, but he showed up. So
I guess that's tough, Miami.
he may be that third scorer that I'm talking about. It's just he's just not there. This is year what, 4 for him or year 3? So I mean, RJ's 23. By the time RJ, if he keeps this trend up, he's gonna be a monster by the time he's 25.
And
26.
dude, and even better. Yeah, how about? I mean, not even better, but like you know what? For me, I'm saying best case scenario, right? He becomes the Allen Houston, but a consistent Allen Houston that can be the sixth man, or Jamal Crawford, even better. Probably the best sixth man ever, Jamal Crawford. He can become like that Jamal Crawford kind of guy that it's like, yo, we got a gun on the bench ready to shoot. You know what I'm saying? And that's just me. That's how I feel about RJ Barrett as like if he nosedives again, let him regain his confidence, but from the bench. I think he would be a crazy weapon off the bench eventually. But we need more pieces, like you said earlier.
Yes, sir. And I think that what that 6 man you're talking about is going to be IQ. It's quickly. He's going to be our Lou Williams. And RJ, his numbers continue to go up. I mean, he's getting into he's already a mature kid in terms of his temperament in New York, and as well as his bone structure. He's a big guard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wait till he get his man strumph. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When he get that, I mean, he's gonna be he's good. I'm happy. We need Grimes to take another step next year because Grimes has got a sweet shot. He don't shoot enough, and and also it's his first playoff. I'm not gonna be mad at Grimes.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be mad at
It's about
Grimes.
confidence.
No, and I think get Obi more minutes. That's the other thing is if you're gonna ride Julius all these minutes during the season, play all these minutes, take some minutes from him, let Obi play. So Julius is fresh for the playoffs.
Now, real quick, what do you feel about all these people coming out talking about Tibbs he should have been giving Derrick Rose some minutes?
I mean, listen, we were down 2-1 and struggling. Like I mean, and we weren't, to be honest with you, we weren't even struggling because midway through the third quarter, we were shooting over 50%. So I mean, I don't know when would have been a good time to bring in Rose because Jalen Brunson is a better defender than Rose. So I mean, I don't know to bring him in just to bring him in. We really didn't need Rose out there. Now this game tomorrow, you have to try everything. Definitely have to try some different lineups. I mean, Rose right now quickly is hurt. Maybe Rose should step in. And Rose is going to go out there with something to prove.
Yeah, he could be that spark. He could be that battery, But if not, rest in peace to our Knicks. It's been a good season. It's been a fun time thus far. Again, my book, and we all know. Shouts out to the good brother JP. Haven't heard from him in a minute. I know he don't listen back to his podcast that he's technically still a member of, but I'm not sending shots. But I know we're gonna hear shit from people like them because these Sixers is all brand new now. All of a sudden, again, like I said, and I'll repeat, they shouldn't have won that game Sunday. I mean, no, they shouldn't have won because they blew almost a 20-point lead, go third into the fourth. But anyway, all these brand new folks out there whose teams just started to get good, just like us, are going to be talking that shit. And you know what? We're big folks. We can take it. It's
Let them
sports.
talk, man.
Talk-
We ahead
talk
of schedule,
shit.
bro. Yeah.
Exactly.
Two, the Sixers. The second round is still going on.
And you know that.
the second round's still going on, man. I still, the Sixers have more than they have enough to finally overcome the Celtics. I'm leaning towards the Celtics to still pull us out. You know, so
Yo, Dan, I'm handing off my turban and I'm giving it to Jamal, man. Yo, he's making that's a prediction.
yeah,
The Celtics.
yes, Celtics in 7, man.
JG,
You know, Sixers. You know, look, man, they shouldn't have won that game, but they won a home game that they're supposed to do. You know, Boston got home court advantage back, correct?
Yeah.
So and Boston, so we'll see. You know, but I mean, they evenly matched. They're more evenly matched than usual, but James Harden's going to show up every other game. That's it. That's his routine. And,
I'm rooting for Doc, man.
You know, and I don't want this. This is what gets me about Philadelphia teams. All right, so you know how much I can't stand them pigeons, right? But I can't root against their quarterbacks unless they're playing us. You know what I mean? And I give them the credit. They consistently get black quarterbacks and give them shine, and I always respect that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I hate. So you know, it's like it hurt me to root against Jalen, old boy, the quarterback this year. However, Jalen Hurts, and I was a huge fan of his in college. Doc, I don't want to see Doc get shit on anymore. You know what I mean? And that's the problem.
So if the Knicks lose, you're gonna root for the Sixers.
No, I'm rooting for LeBron. I'm rooting for the King. That's where my rooting goes. Okay, let LeBron get another one. But I just hate this. If to the Sixers, if Doc gets the next round, it wouldn't bother me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, the Sixers are due to get there. I mean, I don't know what year the process this is, but like I just hate. I think if they don't get a second round, I think Doc's in trouble.
Yes, I do believe that too. That's a situation where the coach move may change, but realistically, again, who's out there? Like the Bucks got rid of Budenholzer, who just won a championship like what 3 years ago with them, 3 years ago.
Not even.
Nick
like
Nurse,
2 years ago.
Nick Nurse just 2019, the Raptors won, right? The fucking Raptors won. He got the well. Kawhi Leonard, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kawhi showed up to work.
What's his name? Well, yeah, when he showed up to work. What's his name? That's in Miami right now from Philly. The guard.
Jimmy Butler. No. I know it's about
Lowry.
Yeah, Kyle Lowry. You know, like they had a squad up there. They had a great squad up there. Fred VanVleet made a name for himself. Got paid in the process. Pascal got paid in the process, all due to Nick Nurse. But again, we're in the sports world of what have you done for me lately. But killed the segue for a second because you went into football talking about my Eagles and not rooting against Jalen Hurts. Which when you said that, it reminded me of sidebar WWE conversation. I stopped rooting against Omos because off the strength that he's black. Because people just shit on him just because that man's gotten a lot better too. But you transition to football. I was trying to transition to football. We are now 2 weeks removed from the NFL drafts because we skipped that weekend before. Let's go over our team's picks, and I'm gonna allow y'all to start. And
go ahead, Big O. I'll go after you.
Giants picks. Second. First round, y'all got Deonte Banks out of Maryland, Jonathan Michael Smith out of Minnesota, Jalen Hyatt out of Tennessee, Eric Gray out of Oklahoma, Trey Hawkins out of Old Dominion, Jordan Riley out of Oregon, and Javarius Owens out of Houston. I would say personal opinion, and I'll get mine out of the way. Y'all be able to do the same in return for the Eagles. When it's your turn, when it's my turn, none of these names are household names. Hopefully, these are solid picks to work out for you. Maybe Eric Gray could be a decent backup or fill-in if Saquon Barkley happens to get hurt once again. But yeah, I mean, a lot of defensive picks for this team that definitely needs defensive help. Definitely needs offensive line help, but y'all only took one center. So it's obviously it's wait and see, but legitimately, I am not familiar with any of these players, so let's see how it works out for y'all.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I'm not too familiar with any of these guys. Even though they did say that, I have heard that the receiver that we picked up is lightning quick. You know, outside of that, yeah, I'm not too familiar with any of these players.
So I don't know if y'all watch a lot of college. So the Giants, the draft is an A. They got an A+ this year. With the picks that we had and the money that we had, the Giants have been crushing it in the offseason. We filled just about every hole we had. They're not household names, but if you watch college football, Deontay Banks, when they picked best corner that was left, there's only maybe two corners in the draft that was better than Deontay Banks, and we needed defensive backfield help, especially in a division with the Eagles and the Cowboys and how they throw. So that was a great pick. We got the best center in the draft, probably the second best offensive lineman in the draft. That center he's a day one starter. He's a mauler. He's a fucking mauler. He has some issues with balance. Like he's one of those dudes that drive so hard. One of the centers, and Dan, you play center. You know the centers that drive too hard and then they end up on the ground no matter what the play. Like he drives that first man so far.
Yes, I do.
That you end up on the floor. So a lot of times I would like him, out, and that's going to be coaching. Get rid of that first man, keep the block, keep the lane going. That's the only thing we need for him. But he's an absolute mauler. Jalen Hyatt was a steal. I believe they actually wanted to get him in the second round. They were trying to try to get him. Jalen Hyatt, we needed wide receiver help. Like I said, our wide receivers, man, pretty much worked at White Castle on Empire and Utica. You know what I mean?
So Darius Slade is still gonna get his old job back.
So, I don't know. We signed old boy from the Colts before. I forgot what his name is. Damn, he was the number 2 on the Colts. We signed him. But no, Jalen Hyatt, he's tall, he's fast, he's a route runner, he's a deep threat, and he got speed. The Giants lacked team speed, and we got him. Eric Gray, incredible pickup, great running back, good change of pace back. I think he's going to be, he's going to split time with Saquon. The only thing he don't have that home run ball that Saquon has. He don't have that second gear, but he finds the holes. He gets open, and then after that, there was some risks. The safety we got from Houston, I'm going to go with the experts. They said he was a steal. I didn't watch Houston play much, and the reason I give the Giants an A for this draft is because you have to add Darren Waller as a draft pick because we got him for that 3rd round pick.
And as that, I was reading over our trade, which we're going to talk about in a second. But yeah, I feel you.
So that's why for the picks that we had, that they knocked it out the park. As moving over to the Eagles, I mean, the Eagles front office has been winning for years and years and years. I heard that Eagle crowd complaining about Howie. Howie been killing it, with the money. The picks, the players, the Eagles is going to be good for at least another 5 years. They're going to be a threat. Mm. And I mean, they picked well, they moved well, just ridiculous. They probably got the best player in the draft, And the Eagles is just they were just saying every time they had a pick, who's left on the board from Georgia? That's who we gonna get. and why wouldn't you? Because why wouldn't you pick those players who come from a program where they have all the big game experience? You don't have to coach them up, right? They already know how to motivate themselves on Sunday. You know what I mean? And they're killers. They have all the crunch. You don't. You know what I mean? They make it easy for you. So
That was
salute
that
to
was
the
that was
Eagles.
Clemson a couple of years ago.
Yeah, salute to the Eagles, and even them Cowgirls had a good draft. I think the NFC East is going to be a problem. It's
Yeah.
going to be old school NFC East, which I love. It's going to be competitive. So, but right now the Eagles, it's going to take some prayers and a little bit of Mama Juana or something to knock the Eagles off the perch right now. But that's all I got.
Oh,
Yeah, I second everything Jamal just said. Like I said, I don't know too much about these guys, but I know we're a step closer with guys like Darren Waller. If we can get him to play, shit, if we can get him to play 12 games, man, I'll be happy with that. You know, and
Right.
for a third round pick, I mean, I think we pretty much broke even.
Yeah,
I don't know
man.
who the Raiders got.
that's nice, but you're supposed to be talking about my Eagles.
Oh yeah, Eagles is cool.
Fuck you. But anyway, first round pick Jalen Carter, who, funny enough, felt disrespected that he got picked at number 9. Then
He lucky he got picked though for the first round, but whatever.
yeah, because you know how they do about outside stuff that happened
100%. That's exactly what I'm
20
talking
years
about.
ago in
So
the
I mean,
past.
I think he
Yeah,
made out
so
real
you
well,
know
and
how-
good for him. Good for him.
You know how that goes. And then we just happen to have his teammate, defensive end, Nolan Smith, just lingering around that we picked up at the 30th spot. So the rich get even richer. Then we get an offensive tackle, Tyler Steen from Alabama, more SEC. Then we go up to the Big Ten to Illinois and get Sidney Brown at safety, probably a solid backup. We go back to the SEC, pick up another Georgia teammate, Keely Ringo. Tanner McKee, I guess that just was like you know what, we don't want to leave you there, but we don't. He'll be a nice third stringer, I guess. He gets to develop along, sit on the bench, ride out the bench, maybe play his NFL career bouncing around as a backup. Who knows? And then Moro Ojomo, defensive tackle from Texas. Again, defensive line.
Plugging holes, man.
Immediately stronger. More secondary help with just two pieces, safety and corner. But with we got Slade coming back. I think we got I don't know if we have Gardner Johnson back, but that secondary was already solid with Slade there, and this a new rookie addition. It'd just be great rotational pieces that, like you said, big game team. Players from big game teams who understand big game pressure. Watch out for the Philadelphia Bulldogs once again this season. That's what I'm going to say.
Bro,
Watch out
don't
for the
forget.
Philadelphia Bulldogs.
Do not forget, you got the running back from Detroit.
I was getting there because, again, no problem. Because, like you said, as I said, the rich get richer, and the fact that Howie Roseman was sitting on so many draft picks, we was able to get DeAndre Swift from the Lions, who was becoming a big standout up there in Detroit. We got him in the 7th round in exchange for a 2025 4th round pick and the 219th pick of this year's draft.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We were able to get one of the better running backs in the league currently for a 5th rounder 2 years from now, and a late draft pick from this past year. Again, that noise that Jamal made, we don't know what type of stuff Howie Roseman was sniffing or snorting, or he got these people to snort in order to pull this trade off to get all these people. Something, I don't know what's in the water, but damn it, Howie Roseman, you did it again. You did it again. And I'm just, again, I'm not shooting too high. I'm just going to I'm calling for a division win and a good showing in the playoffs. That's all I'm looking for right now. Just a good showing in the playoffs. I'm not going to sit out here and be one of these unreasonable fans and just automatically think Super Bowl. But I'm not against
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard not to. And as an opponent and a ardent Eagle hater, but a realist, that that QB has been sensational. And now he's got the experience. He needed that loss to get the experience. And the only knock I will put on the Eagles is this: one, it is really hard to get back to Super Bowl, right? But two, we will have to see what the impact of losing both coordinators is.
it. True indeed.
And
True
that's the
indeed.
only thing. But as far as personnel, I dare somebody to find me a better roster in the NFL by far on both sides of the ball.
But you know how they're going to do us. They're going to be talking up San Francisco. They're going to be talking up Buffalo, Cincinnati.
Nope.
The Super Bowl champs, I can understand they're going to be talking about. But they're also going to be talking about, and let's keep it real quick, the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers, finally, the trade went down during our off time.
Yeah.
This is the one case, y'all, and we'll give our takes and move on from this, but this to me is the one case where the quarterback really does make the difference.
That could be a problem. That could absolutely be a problem because low key, the Jets are stacked on fucking defense. They got the offensive player. That's if all goes according to plan, that team could stand against the Eagles for sure. And how you deal,
I'm not going that far
bro?
just yet.
Their defense is no joke. Their defense is no joke.
They got to stand up against Buffalo first.
I'm not. Buffalo's not the problem. You know why? Because Buffalo's best weapon is our head coach, and you saw the difference in that team last year. So that's that's my opinion. It's of course it's going to be Kansas City, depending on how hungry Andy is this year. But they're always going to be a threat because they got the video game in Mahomes. But it should be the Eagles then everybody else, unfortunately.
Unfortunate for y'all.
So I have a question.
Aaron Rodgers and the Jets.
I have a question then. So how is this? I mean, I don't know. I get it. It's Aaron Rodgers, what, 3-time MVP. How is this different from Brett Favre going to the Jets? Besides the defense, I get the defense. It's all worry.
It's the weapons he got off. The problem with the Jets is the quarterback. The Jets wide receivers is light years better than what he had in Green Bay. Even though he's trying to bring a lot of those Green Bay cats over, I'm like, why? You ain't with him for what? You got tools here. The other thing is the Jets have a running game too.
So okay. So who dropped the ball? I'm sorry. So who dropped the ball drafting this guy? Oh man, what the fuck is his name? Oh boy, from BYU.
Well, whoever thought that you could put a Mormon in New York City and think he wouldn't have problems. That was horrible. And the guy can play. The guy can play. He's just not built for New York. And and the Jets environment is toxic. That fan base is toxic.
It's a different fan base than the Giants fan base.
The Giants is much more structured. It's much more structured. It's much more appreciative. It's because we got wins. We got rings. We're not really that talked up about it. We've seen, 4 parades. He would have been better suited going to like Denver or some shit. You know what I mean?
The kid that they drafted from BYU, you talking?
Yeah.
Zach Wilson.
And I can't be mad at the Jets because the Jets, use their draft picks. They drafted him. They drafted Sam Darnold. They tried. You're supposed to pick, those high level quarterbacks like that. It don't always turn out. What can you do? So what they're doing is they're hedging their bets and they're doing a rent a quarterback because they know they're probably a quarterback away from a chip with how they currently structured. So let's see what Aaron Rodgers got left in the tank. You see he cleaned himself up, right? He's not looking like Joe Dirt in the city.
Yeah.
No Joe Dierte.
Joe Dierte.
No Joe Dierte. But Zach Wilson wasn't it. I mean, they kind of went with him they kind of went with, as I'm looking at his picture now, they went with that All-American QB look over talent. They went with, to me, they went with somebody who could be a face. That, I mean, technically doesn't really, a face that truly doesn't represent a city like New York, to be honest with you. Just looking
Right.
at him, that's where I could agree with Jamal. With he might have been better suited in like a Denver or something where a situation where the team is developing as a whole, like a
Right.
Houston or something like that. Like he would have been better off there. But again, Aaron Rodgers, I really do. This is the one time in recent history where I personally would say this is where the talking heads on TV, when they can only talk quarterback, this is the one time in, I couldn't tell you how long, where the QB made the biggest difference. I mean, we could say Tom Brady and the Bucks, because it was the instant Super Bowl and all that, but a lot of other stars had to align for that to happen the way it did, and it did for them. But this here is a situation that literally made the Jets light years better. Light years, because like Jamal said, beyond underrated defense, and Sauce Gardner is the truth. They got a great defensive line. I'm not too sure about their linebacking core just yet. They got a freaking super stud at wide receiver, the kid that I believe they drafted at the same time as Zach Wilson. But they got
Wilson.
Well, I forgot the wide receiver's name. And then the running back that was about to like really explode last year, coming back from injury, who's going to be hungry, because I believe this would be his second year or third year. That team is going to be hungry, along with them picking up Lazard for Aaron Rodgers. I'm sure Randall Cobb is on the way if that deal isn't done already. Like, he's gonna have his security blankets that he's gonna be comfortable with. They're already talking that the camp is going great. They're saying, and he's reporting for all the early stuff. Why, in my opinion? Because he has to get familiar with this new team, and it's
he wants to win.
It's not like a Green Bay situation where he knows what he's getting himself into. It's the same shit, different toilet. One of my favorite sayings: the same shit, different toilet. He wouldn't have there wasn't more he could do in Green Bay, to be honest with you. There wasn't more, because that defense over there is consistently a letdown.
Trash.
Especially late season. And like I've always said, this is going to be a completely different, eye-opening world for Aaron Rodgers, because this defense, they were hustling and busting their ass last year, with a lead or without a lead. This ain't going to be a defense that all of a sudden plays good because Aaron Rodgers got you a lead.
Right.
That's what Green Bay historically has always been, and I'll still preach it to this day, even with Jordan Love at quarterback. That Green Bay lost the division with losing Aaron Rodgers. It's so crazy to finally talk about one QB making that huge of a difference, but this situation is that huge of a difference. It is really that big of a difference. And everybody's talking Miami up still.
Would you say the same thing for Lamar Jackson if he was to leave Baltimore?
Yes, I would say the same thing if Lamar Jackson would have left Baltimore. But see, it all depends on where he wants to go. We're talking about a former MVP. The dude deserved. I personally thought he deserved freaking Deshaun Watson like money. I did, because you're talking about somebody who actually won the league MVP when people told him he shouldn't be a quarterback, and the man's a damn quarterback. You know what I'm saying? He won league MVP. Yeah, he didn't get to the Super Bowl yet, but Mr. $240 million guaranteed barely seen the playoffs in his career. Barely. You know what I'm saying? But congrats to Lamar on that. What was it, like 189 guaranteed he got. That's and okay, you're the highest paid player in the league because the way the contract's structured and your payout for a year. That's just semantics to me. You know, that type of talk, that's just semantics for me. But congrats to Lamar Jackson. Shout out to my man Eddie, my man Ed, from, as he calls it, from the home of Roy Jones Jr., Pensacola, Florida, checking in, talking about the Falcons need help. Yeah, the Falcons need a rebuild.
Ugh, I don't
The
even know
Falcons,
what's going to help the Falcons.
the Falcons need a BBL, a tummy tuck, some new titties. Yeah. Even though they are a football team in what is known as the blackest city in America, we got somebody who decided to visit one of the blackest Hall of Fames there is. I just need y'all to take a listen to this real quick. Just hear this real quick.
Had a phenomenal day today. Nigger League GM and
Oh man, I forgot this day. I forgot this damn announcer's name already. To be honest with you, it's irrelevant. Doesn't even matter right now. Your man really,
That is, man, there's
I don't
Freudian
know.
slips, and then, man,
that honestly, I ain't giving him no pass. Really, that really felt like a Freudian slip. Like that, I don't know. Everybody got on the train of that ain't the first time he said it, which I believe. You know, everybody's riding him, but it was just funny to me. I'm sorry. It was funny. It was dead wrong. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. It was dead wrong.
yo,
But
dog.
that shit was funny to me. And what made it funnier, Jamal, before you go, was the dude next to him. I think that shit went straight past his head. Like, I'm not faulting him for nothing. He didn't even look like or seem like he understood what was being said right when he had the microphone turned towards him, but he didn't. It just kind of went over his head what he said, but he was all like, when he was
Man,
like that just felt like, yo, I'm here with you, my brothers and sisters. Like that's what that felt like when after that statement, though.
man, dude, I don't know why the Freudian slips always have to be N-bombs. These people, it's like the dude that was like old boy that was selling shit. Did you ever see that clip? That was going to solicitor that was going around to the neighborhoods, and I forgot what he was selling, some sort of service.
Oh
And he-
yeah, I remember that.
I was like, bro, how do you make that slip? Why that word? Why is that the slip?
Yeah,
Man,
it's if you have to ask the question. I mean, you don't want to ask the question, but you have to ask the question. Like, yo, when the door is closed, how y'all be talking? You know, because
They be talking like
get the
this, like my
impression
man
that
Ed said. They be talking
You
like
get-
this. For shizzle,
Say
my
again?
nizzle. I said they be talking like my man Ed said in the comments. For shizzle, my nizzle.
worse. Yo, it's funny. The way that dude didn't flinch like that, I could only imagine the conversation before it became, before they went live. I mean, I don't know. It's and then I don't know if you guys heard today. Well, yesterday with Bob Huggins.
I heard something about it, but I didn't hear what he said.
Okay, so Bob Huggins, Cincinnati Bearcats, I guess the town radio, their local radio show, calls Bob Huggins, who hasn't been a coach there in over 10 years. They were asking about Xavier, and he went in talking about, yo, these Catholic apps or whatever, and
okay.
it wasn't fucks. You know what I'm saying? It was the other one. And so, like yo, these slip ups on hot mics on live shows, it's like, are they really slip ups or this is just how you are? And we just didn't know.
Yeah.
got the quotes. Let me read them real quick. It's saying that it's an interview. Well, I'll try to fly through it quick. West Virginia coach Bob Huggins twice used a homophobic slur in a radio interview Monday when asked about whether he had recruited and tried to poach Xavier players out of the transfer portal. And I'm gonna skip through. He says, "I tell you what, any school that can throw rubber penises on the floor and then say they didn't do it, by God, they could get away with anything." Huggins said. He said, "Was this at Crosstown shootout?" He asked. The host asked. He said, "It was transgender night, wasn't it?" Said Huggins.
Oh, man.
And Huggins said, "It was." The radio host asked, "Was this at the Crosstown shootout?" And Huggins said, "It was transgender night, wasn't it?" And then no, the host asked, "Excuse me, y'all, don't mind the stupidity and dyslexia." I'm not dyslexic. I'm just reading like I am. Said Huggins, "It was a Crosstown shootout. Yeah, what it was all those maggots, those Catholic maggots, I think." I mean, here's the little dichotomy in this, and cancel us if you want to, whatever. We're adults, we ain't afraid of that. They attacked one part, but left out the Catholic part. Same Catholics, right? Or same Christians, Catholics, whatever. They kind of believe in the same thing, just different directions, whatever. But these Catholics throwing penises and stuff, again, think about all boys schools, all girls schools, things where they do this stuff, but also preach not to be this, that, and yada, yada, yada. All the stuff that the Catholic Church does behind closed doors. Yet maggot was the overarching harmful thing. Not saying it was right. Not saying it was right at all, because you even hear me say maggot, because even I stopped. That's, if this was the 90s, we'd be letting it fly all day, because it always had the same connotations, but nobody attacked. And we're in a state of awareness now, which I've grown. I think all of us here have grown, where we respect the other side and refrain from doing all that stuff. You know, like O said before, though, behind closed doors, what do some people do? I know I don't use it, but I can only speak for me. You know what I'm saying? But why didn't they clap at both sides of the Why? Well, like the maggot side was the worst part, which it was bad. When he said them Catholic maggots, which again, you could have called out how hypocritical the Catholic community could be when you're throwing penises on the basketball court. You're throwing dildos on the basketball court. You know what I'm saying? Like, how Catholic is that? How Jesus-like is that? But not giving them a pass for saying the maggot word. You know what I'm saying? Because that is still, it's dead wrong. It's dead wrong.
Yeah, but I think
he gets, he should get it. But don't leave the Catholic part out of it.
I think though, you're comparing students to someone who should know better, and that's what they're gonna run with. I don't think his job is definitely not safe. If it was on FanDuel, I'll be betting that he'd be losing his job. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you, and I mean, like, it's again, not giving them a pass. We remembering the person's age, remembering where he's from. Like, he went to the University of West Virginia. He's in West Virginia, possibly one of the most racist states still going to this day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
don't forget broken states. I think only Mississippi got it beat.
Louisiana's up there.
That part too, but I'm not giving them a pass. But I sometimes I feel like I wouldn't expect nothing less than a person like that from there to speak like that. But not giving them a pass. Should he get fired? That's not my decision. That's up to the university. whatever they want to do about it. It's just and I'm not comparing the whole student thing because this is everybody else outrage coming down on him. 'Cause students, we got to remember these people are young adults in college. They're not just kids, yet people still want to perceive them as kids because they're in college. But no, they're young adults. They know they very well know what the hell they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Let's look at some of the degrees they're probably going for. These kids ain't stupid, especially to go to a university like Xavier or whatever, he's accusing of, throwing the dildos on the court or whatever. Like, that's not no dumbass school. Like, that takes some real work to get into.
Yeah.
On top of bank. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, he called them Catholic maggots. I mean, and like I said, call out the church. They love to condemn stuff like that, yet they're the ones that are always coming up in the news, touching booty holes of little boys and little kids. Just like there was a Texas politician. I seen it on, shout out to Midas Touch on Instagram. Yeah, the guy talking about transgender people reading books to children is grooming children. They're just reading children's stories to kids. But yet he just got caught up trying to touch an underage girl who was stumping for him.
That just rolls into, as we've now seen in these years of the MAGA dumbness, the politicians that call out the crazy shit like that the most are usually the ones doing it. They love to project. They love all that shit. It's like they project, they tell you what they're doing by who they try to project their shit onto. It's clear as day. They all end up getting caught for the shit that they talking about.
Dude, I say that shit all the time. So, especially for people at jobs when they move up and move up and move up. The easiest thing for them that they think that they're doing to make themselves look good is go back to the location you last worked at and target all the bad stuff you used to do to try to make yourself look good. And I'm not calling out my job. I'm not calling that out. But it's shit that I've seen in the past where people will go back to places where they used to be or used to work, or they'll go attack people in positions that they used to be in at one time and target the shit that they used to do as wrong, but they used to get away with it all the time. That's exactly what these freaking politicians do. Like you just said, they project and they tell you what they're doing without telling you what they're doing. And what did I say? I like to sing at least once a week. I did it last week, funny enough, in my training class, and we're going to do it again. Rap snitches, telling all their business, sit in the court and be their own star witness. Do you see the perpetrator? Yeah, I'm right here. Like, they do this shit all the time. But Bob Huggins, you deserve whatever the fuck you get because you're insensitive. And it's, you shouldn't be using, I'm sorry, I'm giving like freaking airplane instructions to my kids to close the curtains. But transparency for those who can't see. But like, you deserve whatever you get, man. Because again, sometimes these older heads, they got to understand, they got to roll with the punches. Not everything is an agenda. To me, what y'all think is an agenda is really just a set of people just looking to be accepted as regular human beings like everybody else. Take that way you want to. That's where I stand.
They got to do that because they can't win elections more cleanly, so they got to do culture wars. They got so they know that. So whatever. Whatever. Clock's ticking on them. Whatever.
As I've said before, and I'll say it again, Trump and MAGA was the beginning of the white racist male America's last stand. And each year by year by year, more complaining and complaining. We see what they're doing in Florida. We see what they're doing in Texas. More and more and more. You see the bullshit laws that these people are passing because they know they're losing their grip. They know they are losing their grip. I am not saying it the third time like Dr. Umar. I mean it when I said it twice. So it's gone. It's gone, and they're upset that they can't have it the way that their ancestors had it, where they could put their foots on our necks and continue to belittle people who they perceive to be superior over, and we're less than. That shit is gone. Them days are done, y'all. Y'all got to give it up. It's over.
It's tough, man. It's tough. It's like sand. It's like a handful of sand. You know, you try to hold on tight, but that sand is still slipping through.
Well,
Yep.
It's
You
those
know,
things.
you see you guys' boy Santos just got hit with some federal charges.
He about to catch a case.
Yep. Wow. And Donald Trump lost his civil suit for $5 million.
Yeah, but he's
They're
a fucking dummy. You know?
That he
And
is.
he's a motherfucking dummy, and he's got the dumbest lawyers in the world because no lawyer worth their shit will represent him anymore. Because this is why during his entire presidency they would never let his dumb ass testify under oath because he's a fucking buffoon. You got three things to say during a deposition. Yes, no, and I don't know. That's all you do. And he kept adding all the extra shit because he thinks he's smarter than everybody. And what a fucking buffoon, man. This guy is a goddamn bonobo. I have no idea. What I'm just watching and saying, man, whatever. I'm sorry, yo.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Because I want to just counter and say real quick, because we're talking about changes, we're talking about last stands and all that, which perfectly transitions into the last topic. But I want to actually just go push back on something you said. You said he got dumb lawyers. I think he got smart lawyers because they know that they can take that man for whatever dollar amount that they can get.
Yeah, but he don't pay nobody, Dan. That's
You
the
don't pay
problem.
nobody.
Yeah, my bad. They are dumb, man. You got it. I lost.
He fleeced him. You know what I mean?
I lost.
If I was his lawyer, I'm gonna have to get my money up front.
Word,
like,
for real.
like
Like
a DJ.
Yes, sir.
I need a 90% deposit up front. 90, not 50, not 20, not 10. I need 90% up front.
Yeah, bro,
The rest
Giuliani's damn near broke, they said, man.
Wow.
Oh, poor Boo Boo.
Yeah.
Poor Rudy.
Man. Oh man. The mayor who turned New York City into a police state under his watch. Poor Boo Boo.
Bro, here's the thing, man. I'm still pissed off. Going back to some history, Amako and I had to work at this motherfucker's inauguration. Remember that shit?
Yeah, I remember.
You want to talk about some salty employees, man? We had to work at.
I shook his hand.
Yes, man.
It was not intentionally. I was trying to get past. I was in the detail trying to get past.
Yes,
and said, I guess I got too close to him. We got nervous. So hey, how you doing?
This dude, when he won, bro, Dan, I had to stand there and watch his fucking cake. That was my job.
Really? Well, y'all worked for a security company?
We worked for a program Giuliani, once he got elected, went and cut called the City Volunteer Corps, which was great for people after high school. If you don't know what you wanted to do, you do 1,600 hours of volunteer service for the city. And if you didn't have a high school diploma, they gave you free GED courses. If you had a high school diploma, you went to school free at any of the CUNY schools. And at the end, I think you got like a $10,000 scholarship at the end of the 1 year service. So it was great for us. I had the in-between phase after high school. I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do. And it was helping a lot of kids in New York and get themselves together. And that motherfucker said, nope.
Which, you know what, yo? I mean, I got kids in the New York City school program. We might have to have a conversation one of these days about, programs and stuff being cut. Because as you say that like that, and it triggers me on how much like we had music program while we were not even music program. Like it was a scheduled period in
Yes,
school
sir.
during school hours.
Yes, sir.
We
Yes,
had
sir.
we had band because I tell you, I for some freaking reason it still bothers me to this day. They never let me play drums, but they tried to have me be Kenny G playing the saxophone. That played the saxophone, and did I? No, I think it was just the saxophone. No,
At least they didn't give you the triangle.
No, I had the trombone first,
That's
then
what's up.
saxophone, then
Yeah.
saxophone.
That's
Ask
money.
me, I don't know how to play none of that shit to
Yeah.
this day because it was elementary school. But I mean, at minimum, they used to at least give us recorder flutes.
Yep. But
And that's stuff like that is gone. Like my daughter Zoe, she does violin, but it's an after school program.
see that? They cut all those programs because they want to cut every lane possible for these kids to succeed, and they want to create a permanent underclass. And now I'm getting a little rough about it, but I mean they cut anything extracurricular for these kids, to keep them off the street or to keep them interested, to keep their mind focused on stuff. And they've been cutting the music programs for years. That's just started back in the 70s, and they, back in that time they knew, how many musicians, these poor districts were putting in the industry and dominating the charts and everything. So they cut that, thinking that we wouldn't be able to succeed, but we're highly adaptable people. So we came up with hip hop.
50 years later, arguably.
There you go. So, but yeah, that was a fantastic program. That shit saved my life. That's why I met this dude. And I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do after high school. You know what I mean? I needed that year to experience some shit and to give me some real work experience. We worked some intense jobs and stuff like that. And, you got a scholarship or whatever. I mean, some of the shit, for another show, we'll explain some of the shit we had to do.
Yo, I was just touching on real quick. Yo, painting pools. Where was it, Harlem?
Yeah. Yo, Harlem, the Harlem Community Center, Olympic-sized pool in the middle of fucking July. And 100-degree weather, we had to paint an Olympic-sized pool, bro.
I feel for y'all because I complained my way around. I think I charged the guy $100 or maybe like $90 to paint his fence, and it was a chain link fence. So, the big triangles like this, and I'm just using a roller. I think it took me 2 days to do that shit. And
why'd you get a brush?
Son, because I don't. This was so long ago though, and I could bring you right to the fence that I did too, still to this day. But for the amount of money, it felt like it just kept not becoming worth it anymore because every day was 97, 98, 99. Like that's what you just triggered in my memory bank when you said
family
painting a pool, which is way worse because it's way bigger. In 90 plus, I wasn't there on the same level,
but you understood
Africa Hot.
Yeah, you understand.
That's where I truly felt what Africa Hot meant,
bro. And here's the thing: when you paint an Olympic-sized pool on a day like that, where there's not a cloud in the sky and the sun's over it, that blue paint shoots that fucking sunlight right back at you.
And it don't dry that quick either, so you can't even touch it. Like you think it dries quick, but that should still be wet. It looks like it's dry,
bro. And we got on coveralls and combat boots and these 5-gallon heavy things, and we sitting there with the long rollers, the 6-foot rollers like this and shit. Just painting that shit. The fumes is coming back at you. They didn't give us no mask or nothing, man.
Yo, we were cheap labor. I think about that shit now, man. We were cheap labor.
Bro, that's exactly what it was. Anything the city didn't want to pay for, that's what they sent us to do. Man, but you know what?
We gotta have a conversation like that, like worst jobs, worst jobs we might have done and shit like that. Because I can tell you, I might be able to count on both hands how many jobs I've had, but it wasn't that many, all ashy hands too. But anyway, I didn't have too many jobs in my life because I do like to say, though I didn't grow up with money and stuff like that. Like my father, everybody knows what he did. He did the same job that I do now. And, carrying on the legacy by the name and all that, I became a supervisor like he did. I'm probably going to end my career as a supervisor like he did. My brother's ending his career as a supervisor like he did. Like the city of New York has paid this family well. But in his time, I can say we didn't grow up like we had money like that. But as a child, we was able to grow up as children. We didn't have to go out and get a job. I didn't have to go get working papers. Was I jealous of my boy Leon, who was getting that $700-800 a summer for like doing his 3 or 4 hours at the 120 for summer youth? Yeah, because he was able to have money to buy the new cell phone at the time. He was the only person with the cell phone in the crew. He was able to buy a brand new bike every summer. Like we got bikes, we kept it and hold on to ours. He was able to buy his shit because of summer youth. But we were allowed to be children, and not children, but kids, teens, and not have to worry about work. Enjoy summer, get to school. Enjoy summer, get to school. But then once out of school, work or find something, or at least school. And like you, Jamal, I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself, but I didn't go to school. I ended up getting jobs. And I was fortunate each time I was able to get a job. So we'll talk about that shit at another time, because we're going to close the show out with people who are on strike from their job because technology's taken over. As a union guy myself who just left one union for another union, I feel you, Writers Association of America. Of America. More pay. Everybody needs more pay in this country. We see what capitalism has done. The same capitalism that they've been touting to us for decades now, that was supposed to be the best thing ever. We look like damn fools to the rest of the world. We look like damn fools partially because of it. But these folks are now fighting against not being paid well, and the fear of technology coming through.
As a writer director myself, who's looking to get into both unions, both the WGA as a writer and the Directors Guild as a film director and television director, I stand with them because they're right to have this now before AI gets out of control. This past 2 weeks, how many scientists who were the originators, people that worked on AI, have resigned because they're afraid of where it's going now? And I mean, again, I hate to bring up the Terminator reference again, but this is what they said how it starts, right?
This is freaking Skynet, man.
Yeah, this is Skynet. It's Cyberdyne, right? So, and it's not just the AI; it's streaming. Streaming has different rules in cable, and of course, companies just don't want to pay people. That's the other thing in the so-called capitalist society. They want to get shit. They want free labor because capitalism was started with free labor. And people don't understand that. You always have to be wary. That's why you always have to unionize. You always have to hold them accountable because we're in a system that was started with free labor. You know,
they try to get as close back to that as they can.
That's it.
And that's why they've always had union busters. Like I literally, it's funny that we're talking about unions and I'm bringing up union busting. Get this. I don't know if y'all heard this story, right? But it educated me on this family called the Pinkertons.
Oh, yeah.
Who stem all the way back from Chicago. They were a group that was technically a militia that organized to stop unions because they hated unions. But they were like cold-blooded killers, right? And so recent day, they were still in action. The company Hasbro, makers of all the toys, what I now learned, makers of Magic the Gathering cards. They hired the Pinkertons to raid somebody's house who was a YouTuber, which we're on YouTube. Shout outs to YouTube. Shout outs to Twitch. They hired this group to raid this person's house because he was doing a YouTube stream showing a deck of cards, a brand new deck that wasn't supposed to come out until May 12th. But they hired a murderous union busting family company to go raid somebody because he showed cards too early.
Yeah. Wow. You want a fun American fact about the Pinkertons? So the Pinkertons came about during the 1850s and 60s, and they were known to bring in fugitives. They're like bounty hunters and U.S. Marshals. But you know what the Pinkertons eventually became? The FBI.
Well, I've also learned though that there is actually a standing law where nobody affiliated with the Pinkertons can ever hold a U.S. government job.
There's probably a reason for that.
Right. But that side note was because we brought up the whole union conversation and union busting and stuff like that. And yeah, big corporations, these big agencies, these big, networks, movie houses, even record labels, like they don't want nobody to unionize because they hold all the control when they can just flick you off and fire you at will when they no longer need you. They want to be able to pay the minimum to make sure you remain healthy to continue to do the job for them. That's talking about lack of health care payments and stuff like that. And I'm fortunate enough, like I said, to have been actually my previous job, I was local 3. My previous position on my job now, I was in local 831. Now I'm in local 444. So I've been a union person for almost 20 plus years now. I'm A-okay with unions personally, and I will always be because
we need
they
them.
at minimum protect the rights of the people. Like I stood with, and I'm sure you heard, you know about the Amazon shit, Big O, and how Amazon, like, they kind of started it out here in Staten Island, their fight to unionize and stuff, and then they finally was able to get it.
Sure.
No, man, you always need unions because that's why they're trying to roll back child labor laws and shit now.
Yo, did you hear about that? The McDonald's, there's McDonald's around the country that got busted for hiring underage workers.
Wow.
And people forget. Yeah, brother.
What is it? No, I was gonna say is states like I think Kentucky and somewhere else also roll back working ages.
Yeah,
to where
it's terrible.
they making them work, like allowing kids to work younger, and not just on a summer youth program situation. Like summer youth is cool because it gives a kid experience. It gives a kid life experience, and it's only for a temporary amount of time.
Right, but that wasn't that.
No.
Yeah, nah.
And again, it's look at these places where this is happening. These are the states that are the worst run, are the brokest, and are the places that generated from free labor.
Did I send you guys the video, the 60 Minutes clip where the it was like a school official or principal was complaining that all the kids were coming to school sleepy, coming to find out that kids as young as 13 years old were cleaning out slaughterhouses, and this is in Nebraska.
Yeah, those broke ass states.
Overnight job cleaning out slaughterhouses.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I believe it. But
people forget why we have the unions and where the unions came from. The unions came from that era in this country of the robber barons with Carnegie and J.P. Morgan and all those guys when they had the sweatshop hours and no weekends off and unlimited hour work days and no benefits and child labor and people were dying and all and no health benefits and stuff. That's why we got the fucking unions.
Yeah. And now we're mentioning with the Writers Guild and all that, but also other places. Now we're fighting against technology, and I like technology. I do like technology. But we're at the point with AI now where it's like artists are suing the AI generator companies because they're doing AI generated art that it's like it's undercutting the real artists, but two, also using pieces of what real artists have done to artificially create a lot of this imaging.
Absolutely. It's scanning proprietary. It's scanning Google and search engines for imagery and stuff that was created by a human being, and then generating a mock-up of that, and that's just wrong. So You know,
Yeah. And then too, like now, like I did sign up to Chat GPT because I wanted to check it out. Like I wanted to check it out to see what it was. I asked a couple questions. It didn't answer the questions I was looking for. Like the one question I asked was to write the code for a streaming app. It didn't give me the code for the streaming app. It just gave me some other bullshit. I haven't used it again since because I wanted to check it out. Today on TikTok, which we're gonna close with the question of the week. I forgot to get into that before, but I watched the dude, a young homie that I followed. We follow each other. He was like, write me a story on how to conclude Cody Rhodes to being on the road to winning the WWE Championship next year. And the shit did a whole breakdown. It added so many convoluted, funny pieces where it was like it was sending Kenny Omega to the WWE all of a sudden, tag teaming with Cody Rhodes, saying Dustin Rhodes was going to come back as Gold Dust to help his brother out. And the thing wrote, it was asinine, but the thing wrote an entire script.
Yeah.
That built out a whole year program for a wrestler
within minutes, right?
within minutes. And this is what the guild is fighting against. Because if a studio now wants to just say, we need a new sitcom starring, Big Titty Becky and Big Brother Jamal as the new interracial couple, they could just type in, give me these names, this type of scenario, go.
Yeah.
And these AI chat boxes are doing just that. Like I heard somebody say, I'll say the name later, but I heard somebody say on their podcast they were tempted about it and they just tried it because they were stuck on a couple things as far as writing a book, but they used the Chat GPT and it wrote what they asked for 3 different ways. And it was like, damn it, this is almost exactly what I was kind of thinking. But he didn't use it. This is where we're getting to now. And this, again, I personally love technology. I do. I love advancements with stuff like this. But I'm totally on board with trying to get this shit shut down now before it gets out of hand. Because it feels
100%.
like it's on the way, Big O, to where, like it or not, it's coming. And I take the thought and approach like, when the city comes and says, okay, we're gonna have an ordinance meeting or a board meeting about toll hikes.
Yep.
As soon as they're calling for the public meeting, they've already made their decision.
Yep. They've already did the math on it. Oh, go ahead. Oh, my bad. I shouldn't cut you off.
They already moved. The goalpost has been moved.
Yes,
But
sir.
yeah, it's this whole shit is a slippery slope. Everyone loves technology, but of course you're gonna have people that are gonna take advantage. You have these students out here. There are schools around the country that are now banning. They're trying to ban the usage of Chat GPT, and it's like, how do you do that? I mean, what do you base it off of a student's past essays, past reports, or whatever the case is? It's I don't know. It's tough. I mean,
Chat.
I was always fighting about it because thank you Hollywood. They 30 years ago they gave us the freaking story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, all this shit is coming to fruition. Damn near verbatim.
Fam. First of all, that was created by a black woman who created Terminator and The Matrix, right? And said what's going to happen. But it's 2 things. It's making an already dumb species dumber.
Yeah.
The AI. That's 1. Number 2, the way you stop Chat GPT from these students using it is it has to leave some sort of searchable transcript. If something is generated by Chat GPT, it should be searchable. So teachers can just go and copy and paste and see if that student used Chat GPT or some AI to write that piece. Some sort of footprint's got to be left. But you have to get ahead of it now because it's going to set up a society where there's going to be a bunch of wealthy people who have all the resources and can generate all this money, and they don't need humans anymore. and I saw an interview on a podcast, and I'm not going to promote that podcast, but where a credible guy came in and said 10 years from now, he was like 80% of human jobs are going to be gone.
Yeah, I think I
And
did say
80%.
And here's the crazy thing about it. The people that are pushing to eliminate the human element out of these jobs, right? So now you left people with no way to earn a living, right? Right? But y'all are the same people who fight against people who need to live off the system.
Yeah.
So
You know what
where
it is.
where are you generating this money from when the people can't afford to give it to you?
Yeah.
Like what becomes the point after a while? What becomes the point? Now I get it with along the lines of, excuse the helicopter, but I get it along the lines of adapt with the times, roll with the punches, go with the flow, right? Which that in turn means go to school, get these tech jobs, get into these tech industries. But then it goes down that rabbit hole of, once again, are you my cousin Vinny? Are you Uncle Johnny who can afford me the job after I go get this degree? University that pays that it costs me $50,000 to $100,000 a year to go to. How am I going to pay you back when I can't even get into the field that I'm going to school for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how they want to own you. They just want to own you. But yeah, man, they want us to be batteries. The Matrix told us what it's about. They want us to be batteries, just power sources.
Yo, just rabbit
I mean,
holes.
yo, all these people all these engineers who came up with with these programs with the ChatGPT, they're all dropping out. They're all backing out, and I guess they're realizing what they've done, and now they're scared.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
after
like,
after they cash their check, though, they're backing out
right,
after they got the check.
Of course, they had to cash the check.
right. Like kind of like how, and I'll describe that to. Remember when all the billionaires would record those little videos talking about how Donald Trump's tax plan was bad for you Americans?
Yep.
Like I clearly remember, which I was thankful for the woman who was the heiress of Disney, who was just like I'm good, but I'm fighting on behalf of you, the people who don't have my resources, don't have, because this shit is wrong.
Right.
I can find ways to not pay taxes. I could find ways to skate and get loopholes, but you guys can't.
It's true.
Yep.
I remember one of the few things I remember is, I forgot what show it was. It may have been Bill Maher 10 years ago before he became right wing himself. But anyway, he had Ben Affleck on, and back Ben Affleck was railing against the Bush tax cuts. And he came on there and he said, listen, I'm a multimillionaire. I don't need another tax cut. You know what I mean? Because there's people out there who, he said, I don't need it. I don't need it. What do I need an extra $1 million for? For what? So, but I know, I wish, AI is going to be funky. Yeah.
More power to the writers, man. Hopefully, I'm sure they'll win this battle, because they're going to realize, like, they are the lifeblood of everything in entertainment.
It is.
You don't get anything without a script.
No.
Unless you're Larry David.
Right.
Who can freestyle a whole show. And I like freestyle shit like that, even though I never dove into Curb Your Enthusiasm like that. I love people who can just go and see what you come up with. That's true creativity. That's art.
Correct.
That's art. You know what I'm saying? To be able to do that. I would love to be a part of something like that, because I could go off the top and do whatever. I do it all the time, rapping the music that I don't rap, but I'll just make up some funny ass stuff to a song that's just flowing at random. I love that shit. It's just art.
Sure.
But to close us out, the TikTok question of the week. Speaking of art, we're gonna give props to these guys. I'm gonna show the video that they did for context and where I got this from. But
Superman's best friend is now black.
They say, get your man.
No.
Get
Little
your
Mermaid.
man. Get your.
What they were talking about was the conversation was about how DC feeling like racially like responsible for adding black characters in, but they asked the question of why is it they just take a redhead and then make him black?
Oh man.
Little Mermaid is now black. Starfire is a ginger. Not anymore.
We did take Star.
Yeah, we
Damn
told
it,
him.
you right.
As far as DC's concerned, he is right. We know the formula, DC.
Yeah.
We see what
Wally West also.
you got that right. He's right. What the that woman, technically.
That one.
She's redheaded in the comics. What kind of that was a hell of an observation.
This is like that thing where like a bunch of black superheroes have electric powers. Like,
Yeah.
there's no reason for it. But
Why?
it just happens. Like,
Shout out to the Mexcellence. I'm gonna throw a comment on there later and give them props. Say we
like a
shouted
bunch of
them out
black
around show.
superheroes have electric
But-
powers.
But again, we're talking about freestyling. We're talking about fan fiction. We're talking about just creativity. And something struck me when he said it's like
Like a
black,
bunch of black superheroes have electric powers.
and it made me think of this.
It's because as children, the bill was always put in their name. So why not develop the powers for something that you were held responsible for as a child?
And we all know somebody from some hood who the bill was put in their name as a kid. And so that's what made me think about that, which was like, this would be funny as hell. I'm just rolling off a stereotype of black folks putting a bill in the name, and this is why we got electrical powers in comics and stuff. But then I added a part 2 because somebody asked, is there any black super villains? And so I added on to my fan fiction. See, this is stuff that AI can't give you because I literally freestyled this stuff as I was thinking about it.
There any black superheroes? Absolutely. See, but now in my fictional world, as I explained in the previous video, I think the supervillains were the ones who were the rebels who left home early to run the streets instead, to where mom or dad could not put the bill in their name, and they developed their own powers because they moved out into their apartments at like 15, 16 years old on their own because they had the money, hustling in the streets, doing what they do.
AI can't do dumb shit like that. But I wanted to just say the question off of that is like, number one, how real is it when you really think about it on the superhero level? So many black heroes can fuck with electricity in some sort of a way. But what's a superpower that you can kind of make up your own hood fan fiction to why they have it?
It's deep.
What's something off the top of the head? Oh, Jamal, just freestyle some shit off the top of the head. What do you think? Give it a hood comparison to why they got this superpower.
All right. Oh man, I'm oh boy. All right, so somebody like Luke Cage. Somebody like Luke Cage is strong because there was no father in the house, and he had the Jesus Christ.
You can't even get it out.
You're going to hell.
I'm going to hell.
All right, come on, I'm gonna keep you on the page. Luke Cage, no father in the house. Why did he have no? So why did he get his powers? Because he had no father in the house.
And so he had to hold down whole family. You know what I'm saying? And he had to do the cooking. He had to do the cleaning. Make sure all the chores is done. Oh man,
he beat up every one of his mother's boyfriends, I guess.
He had to fight all his mother's boyfriends. Exactly. Had to fight Uncle Charles.
Why you got to bring Uncle Charles into this, man?
Damn it! That's why we miss Uncle Charles, y'all. Because Luke Cage killed him.
Oh man.
Oh shit! Now, why did he become bulletproof though? I gotta ask. How did he become bulletproof?
Oh man, he was tired. He was nice. Oh man, let me keep going. Huh?
All right, Jamal. All right,
There's
all
that,
right.
you know,
I mean,
it was that.
listen. This was Harlem. This was Harlem in the 70s, man.
All right. You know what I'll say? I'll say it was the power of Cisco. It made him bulletproof. That crack juice made him bulletproof.
I don't know, bro. I would say it's that government peanut butter because that shit was unspreadable. Shit was ripped any bread. That you know, shit. You should have asked me before I started smoking, bro.
Oh, that should make it even better.
Oh man, bro.
Give me something, Jamal.
Let's see. He got his strength from walking up and down the stairs, all the packages and everything, because the elevator was never working.
You got that. He had. Oh, I got one, man. He got his agility. You know, for not stepping in and pissing the elevators and shit. You know what I'm saying? So you got to dodge the piss in the elevators.
Oh shit!
Yeah, we're going to hell.
All right. Do you want to add on to his? Do you want to add on to his, Jamal, or do you think you got something?
Oh man, shit. I'm blanking here. This shit is just so sinful.
You just took a step back, boy, for the black race, boy.
There's an unknown compound in quarter waters that turned his. It was an elixir.
You know what it was? You know what it was? When they said tropical fantasies made you sterile, that wasn't the case. It didn't make Luke Cage sterile. That's what gave him the bulletproof skin.
Oh, I got it.
Drinking the blue tropical fannies in the glass bottles.
And the top pops.
Top pops. Or the $5 wings and rice at the Chinese spot. Turned him into the toad. Gave him number 5.
Oh shit. All right, what's a black superhero and get Jamal? What's a black superhero and how did they get their powers? Hood style.
Oh, who else is there, man? You get Luke Cage.
All right, you know what I'll give you?
Yeah.
I'll give you Spawn.
Ooh. Okay.
Give us a quick origin story, Hood style, or how did Spawn become Spawn?
Spawn was shooting dice, lost his shit, and then went to go down to the end of the street to where the old players was. It's been shooting dice for 50 years. Found out the old player was the devil, and the old player said, "Okay, you're gonna win every dice game for the rest of your life." But I gotta take your soul. And Spawn was like, "Okay, but that's cool. But I need to win in craps and CeeLo."
I was about to ask which game, but you said old head, so I immediately thought craps.
Yep.
But I was first thinking CeeLo.
2 dice and 3 dice.
Like, don't matter. I need to be nice in both. He's like, what's the name? The Malboja? You done, young buck.
Listen here, little nigga. You'll never ace out again. Oh shit! So it became 4, 5, 6s for the rest of his life, but it burnt him up. It killed him, took his soul, and now he avenges every other person who lost in 3-Card Monte. He avenges the losses of everybody who played the dice game. He avenges every loser of the dozens.
That's it, bro. If you got hoodwinked in any game of chance, Spawn is your vindicator, man.
That's it. He makes your Skelly Cat move properly.
Skelly Cat.
Yeah. This was stupid, but it was fucking hilarious. So that's it. We're done. My ass gotta go to bed, yo, because I gotta work 5 to 1, so I gotta be up mad early. But I'm glad we got this in, so we didn't leaving the people waiting. Big ups to the homie Ed in the comments. He's letting me know coming back from Queens. I don't know how you get from Queens to Staten Island in 25 minutes, but more power to you, brother. I'm gonna catch up with you when I can because I gotta go to bed. I gotta be up early, so y'all know what to do. Big O.
Sir, it's your boy, Big O. Great show. This is fun. You know, damn man, yo, your spawn is gonna kick my Luke Cage ass, man. But nah, man, this whole shit was fun, man. The whole shit was fun. Can't wait for Sunday. You know what I'm saying, for the next show. Jamal, it's on you.
Yo, peace to everybody in the comments. Ed, yo, good show, y'all. Midweek shows is good to after on Monday and Tuesday to have something to look forward to like this. My usual shout outs, peace to the whole squad. Brother TJ couldn't make it. Peace to Ishtar, Disable Planets, and Ill Magic.
Right. And as before you go and lose another dice game, please don't lose all your money in craps of CeeLo or wasting it on Cisco. Hit that Hooks, Rubs, and Spices, hooksrub.com, 20% off using the code starting 5 off your entire order. Please go support the brothers who do good business. Yeah, maybe we'll find a different episode to come with a fan script or just some real funky shit too. Plus, we're gonna come back. We're gonna have an education talk about, just about how the educational system just took a turn from when we were in school. We're definitely gonna have that conversation about past jobs. Like, I want to hear some of the crazy shit that we've done over time. Maybe we'll do that next week in mourning of our Knicks, possibly. We'll say rest in peace, Knicks, and rest in peace to all the past jobs we had. Something like that. Next week, I'm just transparency to y'all, and next week we might be at a later time in the afternoon because I'm flying back from. Shout out to my nephew Noel Quinones, graduating college next weekend. So me and the missus are flying out to Minnesota to celebrate with our unofficial firstborn. Is our nephew, but I've been around that kid since 1. And to watch him grow up and now be a college graduate.
That's what's up.
Great kid with a great head on his shoulders. He's on his way after that to go be the guardian for his sister, who, shout outs to my niece, who is a official Kids Bop kid, touring the country for Kids Bop. My family's doing great things, y'all. So we got to get out there and celebrate some of that. And yeah, man, hopefully my daughter does good coming up in city champs in shot put and javelin, and my other kids just continue to be great, and everybody's kids be great. And fuck capitalism. We stand with unions, and we stand with people, humans. And I'm gonna just close it at that. Peace. Ashy Fingers out.